Hi, my name is Noelle, and I'm from Noelle Salon in Boston. And I am here with Aurora. We have been working together combined 25 years, well, maybe 35 years. And we're here to talk about all that matters with hair, from questions you may have if you're a client. We'll be answering a lot of those. If you're a stylist looking to get into the industry, we'll be offering tidbits and tips that you wish someone told you before you did this. We'll be busting some hair myths along the way. And we run a successful salon. We've worked with many local celebrities, musicians, and all walks of life. And we're here to share it all and give you the dirt on what it's like to be behind the chair. And I want to welcome Aurora.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I've been in the hair business for 10 plus years. I've been working alongside you.
Yeah.
You're also my aunt.
For better or worse.
Which is wonderful.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm just excited to start this podcast.
Yes, we're going to be touching upon everything, as I said, regarding hair. So today we're going to start with hair extensions, our niche.
Yes, hair extensions, probably the most popular thing.
Well, it wasn't 25 years ago, but now it is. And we're going to be talking to you and giving you some more information.
Let's get right into it.
We did find that we're really successful working with a niche business. Mm-hmm. And our niche is hair extensions, is in color, and of course, all hair services. But particularly hair extensions is how we started over 25 years ago. And we also work with transgender clients. I totally recommend that anybody getting into this industry really focus on something that they love. In color, you love color.
I do love color. I love everything. I love hair extensions as well. But I think that our introduction podcast is really going to be kind of breaking down extensions today.
Today we're going to talk about extensions because there's so much out there, and there's so much. There's so many things that we need to clarify mm-hmm. and bust the myths. So, years ago when I started working with hair extensions, they were just two types. There was weaves, which were primarily just for, coarser texture.
Right.
And then we would make our own individual stranded extensions. Yeah. I mean, you were just little and you would come in and blow
I would
dry
wash
hair.
all the hair, all the wefts of hair that had to be pre-treated.
They all had to be pre-treated, and we would cut off the wefts. We would take, these strands of hair, glue them together. The glue was called monkey bars. Mm. It was very sticky, and we would stick it on to,
You would burn your hands.
Burn your hands and just put it on people's hair and roll these big, it was hard to make them smaller type bonds. They call them bonds. But yeah, back then we didn't have much. And we used to, those things would just shed like crazy.
Yeah, they've come a long way because now they're already pre-bonded for us.
Yes, they're pre-bonded with keratin.
With keratin, yep.
And the keratin is absolutely fabulous because keratin is in our own hair. So there's like fibers of keratin in the adhesive. So when you heat it, and it just melds into your own hair, and it's very pliable, and it moves like your own hair, expands, contracts with water. Really fabulous. But of course, hair extensions do come with their problems, and we get tons of email and questions about them. And most people want to know where they're derived from.
Yeah. So what do we want to get into types?
Yeah, let's talk about the types of extensions. We can briefly touch upon clip-ins. I think everybody knows about clip-in extensions.
I think clip-ins are the basic to go to for an evening, a weekend, off and on.
Non-committal. The thing that people should understand, that putting too many of them on, wearing them too often, can definitely break down the hair. And we know of Bellamy, which if you're familiar, I mean, a lot of people know.
A lot of people
Bellamy,
know it now.
Especially if you're on Instagram. Bellamy has their Bugatti line, which has I think 380 grams of hair.
Imagine how heavy that is in someone's head. I can't even imagine. I know that Seamless is another brand that just came out of clip-ins, and they're really pushing a lot of celebrity endorsements for it too.
Yeah.
The thing with clip-ins I find is that a lot of people were sleeping in them. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. That's why I tried to design my own brand that you could sort of sleep in. But when we worked with that, they were great, and we sold a lot, but we sold mostly on Amazon, which that's another show in itself. But Amazon took all the profits, although we did sell a lot. But clip-ins, I think you just really have to be careful not to wear them too often. If you do want to wear hair more often, then you should really go into some of the other types of extensions we'll be discussing.
Yeah, I agree. I think clip-ins are great for maybe one evening that you have in mind, or if you want to just throw them in for the weekend when a dinner date or something like that. But
don't let anybody pull on them.
No, God, no. But don't sleep in them. I mean, they are too heavy for most people.
They really are. They really are. And not for everyday wear. But let's get into what came of the individual strands. Initially, were fusion hair extensions, keratin bonded extensions. And the basic, what people really need to understand is these are attached to maybe about 25 strands of your own hair. Yep. The keratin bond is then placed below the hair or above the hair, melted in, and just rolled, and it looks like a little tiny basketball. Shouldn't be too big, and they have to be placed properly.
Yep.
Away from each other in perfect sections, as you know.
Yeah, I think that this is my favorite type of hair extensions. It's the most common. It really is the most comfortable, the most natural. Put your hair up.
Oh, absolutely.
You can do half up, half down styles. I find a lot of brides tend to go for this as well.
Yes, because you can wear the up styles. You can color your hair while you're wearing them. They just have to be, you're not going to watch a YouTube video and have your friend put them on.
Absolutely not, no.
You're not going to even watch a video as a stylist and learn. You really need
a professional to do this.
You need to start as an apprentice, and if you're a stylist, and really learn the right way. Mm-hmm. And for those clients out there interested, really do your research. You want to know. You want to go on Instagram, see these people's, see your potential salons work before and afters. If they have a website, you want to email them. You want to go for free consultations. But the fusion hair extensions, that started their fusion / keratin individual strands. There's a lot of ways you can say them, but they're really great. And I just think that they're the way to go if you want to first initially step into it, because there's not a lot of upkeep. But back to when we first started working with the hot glue gun, people would think that it was actually a craft glue gun that was melting this monkey bars glue. And instead it wasn't. It was just a glue gun that would heat up to a minimal temperature, and you could roll with your fingers. But I had a client that she brought her boyfriend in, and she told him to watch to see.
What man would come into a salon to first sit there and watch?
Well, he was paying for her hair.
Yeah, but then decided to try to do it themselves.
Well, he thought he could, so he didn't have any shield or protection, and they went out and they bought a craft glue gun. That's probably like 200 degrees. I mean, you don't want to be touching it. And they cut hair, and they put it on her hair.
What a nerve.
And rolled it. And once they rolled it, they ended up breaking. The heat just melted her hair off.
Yeah.
And then he had like 2nd-degree burns. But she was honest. She told me. And you know what? She's still...
You probably could tell just by looking at her hair.
She's still a client today. So
yeah,
that it's nice that she still comes to us. And she learned, and she's not with that boyfriend anymore. So the other type of extensions that you'll see often, they originated out of California, are called microlinks or hair locks.
Microlinks, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. They're applied individually, like the keratin. So what basically is there's a aluminum or sometimes copper link that's threaded into our client's hair, and then we put in an extension, and the extension is pre-bonded, but not with keratin, and then it's just clamped down. So they stay in place pretty well.
Yeah, they do. I do like the removal process of those. I find it very easy, super simple to take out, but there's always a con. But you need much more applied to your head because they're such smaller individual strands, and they're very uncomfortable because it is plastic or metal.
Yeah, they're not pliable like the keratin, and I do think they're uncomfortable because there's no expansion, and there's also an issue for me with matching the actual link itself to to the client's hair, because with the keratin, it's see-through. So the color of the hair is what you get. With these, the colors, there's not as much variety in the link itself. And I do prefer the ones with silicone inside, that they sort of avoid some
cushion
slippage.
A little bit.
Yeah, and they help from breaking, because they can definitely do some damage too. And people just have to remember that our own hair sheds. So every day your hair shedding, the extensions are growing, and that gets trapped in the extension. So, any extension is only going to last a certain amount of time, and anything, it really shouldn't be beyond 4 or 5 months max. But that being said, there's far more maintenance involved with the microlinks, because
they slip. They slip much faster.
They do slide down the hair, and especially like my hair or your hair, which tends to be a little more finer, oily. You definitely will get that slippage, and you're in the salon far more often than you would be with other types of extensions. You cannot color your hair while you're wearing them. You have to take them off. Mm-hmm. They call it takedown, quote unquote. It's really not a takedown. We have to really remove them.
Yeah. You have to really remove them all, reapply them. You can use the same hair. So people do like that, but the well-being of the hair after that many months is questionable.
Well, the hair extensions do shed over 4 to 5 months. So you are going to be, depending on the hair growth and how quickly your hair grows, you probably will be taking these out and replacing every some 6, some 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And I find after 4 or 5 months, people are only reusing about 50% of the hair. So this definitely has an easier takedown, for sure. But other than that, you have to really go on your budget. I find when people stay with whatever they normally start with. So
yeah, I mean, I have clients who have varied, and then they'll go back to probably the first thing that they started for comfort. They're just used to it, and they go back to what they know.
So hand-tied hair, they've been around a long time. They're attached similar to a weave, but the hair itself is really high quality. We used to use it initially when we would cut and make our own bonds, but it's hand-tied onto like a thread of hair. I'm sorry. It's hand-tied onto just like a little thread, a little bit. Hand-tied hair has been around for quite some time, even though it's all over Instagram. They're saying it's new. It's not really new at all. And it's literally tied by hand.
Yes.
Unlike machine sewn, the hair quality tends to be much better. And what happens is you take the links that you use for the individual extensions, and you thread that into the hair, and you thread the weft into the hair, clamp it down. What I prefer, though, is to sew through each link. They're pretty secure, but you didn't like them.
No, I mean, I've tried every type of extension, and I have to say, I mean, obviously my favorite, I've said it before, is keratin, but the hand-tied wefts I did like with the copper locks, not with the things threaded. Yeah, exactly. My hair just couldn't take it. It was very heavy, and I didn't like it.
But you can find these hand-tied hair, you can actually find them. They call them hand-tied. I guess they consider it an extension method because you can find them with already the links attached, the locks attached, the micro links attached. But
I mean, who would be going towards this technique? Someone who just wanted fullness?
The clients that we have, as you know, usually have a ton of their own hair.
So they're just adding more volume.
And they don't really do a lot to their hair either.
Well, because you really can't.
One of our clients only washes her hair like once a month. Seriously.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she wears them. They don't slide because her hair is naturally curly. Curly hair is a little drier. Yeah, it'll hold them in. But then again, don't go on Alibaba and buy this hair.
No, I know.
Or even Amazon, that's going to be thick at the top and, stringy ends and just not really good. I just, it's really, to me, of course, you have to pick the right method that works for you, but you definitely have to buy good quality hair. So let's go on to what I think you prefer.
I do like these that are coming up.
And they are tape extensions.
I do love tapes. I love tapes because I think they're so versatile. I mean, you can literally use them for just fullness on a short bob. You can create a lob with them. I mean, most of these styles have tapes in them.
I think they're really popular. Salons are really getting into the business now because they're so easy to purchase. They're easy enough to apply.
You can reuse the hair. The only con is you cannot put your hair up correctly.
It's really tough. I can't wear them. And they don't really, to me, they're really hard to look natural. And I come from the school of thought and trained to have extensions look perfectly natural. As far as cutting them and razoring them, you can't really cut them with conventional cutting shears. And they have their place and they're good, especially on younger girls. I mean, you can just pop them in, pop them out. They will give you a ton of hair, and when you're younger, you have a lot more hair, so you can support that.
Yeah, I definitely like that. A little goes a long way with tapes, but I do like the blunt ends. I like the texture that tapes will give.
Well, I think that it came out of people not really knowing how to blend.
Cut hair. Yeah, 100%.
Not how to cut hair extensions properly, and then you have that beachy look, which I agree. I love it on a bob. What's good about them is you can reuse the hair pretty much. Well, you're going to always add some more hair, but they last about 6 to 8 weeks in someone's head.
And you retape them. I mean, the removal of tapes is easy for the client, but very difficult for the stylist.
We'll talk about what happens sometimes with the removals.
So the removals, I mean, depending on how somebody cares for their hair, if they're doing bleaching services in between with tapes or not, or if they're allowing brushing to be happened, if they're sleeping on one side more often, you start getting a lot of knotting that occurs. And when you take out the tapes, you have now knotting with adhesive, and it's just a mess.
It can be a real mess.
Plus, you have to take off the old tape and clean it and retape. Exactly. So you might not be spending a lot initially for the set of extensions, but you're spending the time per hour to remove them, clean them, and retape them. So the cost, I think, equals out in the end.
And they're all pretty much the same price in the end. I still think probably the most cost effective are the keratin.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing with tape, I like to wear my hair way up at the top of my head, and that they're just impossible to hide. And then the smaller tapes, they do have a little bit smaller because the tape is usually about 1.5 inches in width. And there's some smaller ones, but they twist a lot. And a lot of people don't like that. Once their hair grows, all that twisting that can occur.
The twisting can cause pulling and then breakage.
Yeah. Yep. So there's another type of extensions similar to tape that I don't think you're familiar with.
I am not.
And those are Ziplocs.
Ziplocs. Imagine everybody's getting on the bandwagon of hair extensions.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I swear there's like a lab out there just hairs growing in labs because I don't know.
I'd rather have hair grow in labs than some of the horror stories that we know.
Or the cadavers of dead people. But so I did spend a fortune to buy this Ziploc brand. So they are trademarked, called Ziploc. They're not exactly like a Ziploc bag. They don't adhere like that. But picture a folder.
Yeah.
So they open up similar to tape, 1.5 inches in width, and then they close. And they're plastic, but they're pretty heavy plastic. And they snap. And they snap.
That sounds so painful.
They snap in different areas. So what happens is...
Oh, why would anybody want that?
Well, I think the idea of having such an easy removal, just open and close and take them out, but the
with
actual,
plastic.
In theory, it sounds okay, but when you wear them, and I put them in my hair, they were the most uncomfortable.
I imagine they're extremely heavy too.
Even trying to place them a little bit away from my scalp, they are about a 1/4 inch, maybe more thick. So when you go to lie down with those, oh my gosh, and you can't even hide them. And as your hair grows, I kept them in for 1 week. I couldn't do more than that.
At least you tried.
Well, they say that you can keep them in for, as long as your hair sheds, and they show this ad with this girl with this beautiful flowing hair. I would think similar to clip-in extensions. These either A, have to be redesigned, or you just wear them like a clip-in.
It's like when you see that ad for the Halo clip-ins, where it's a piece of wire that supposedly sits on the head invisible.
No, that just stretches and snaps. And they have the elastic one, the one that Daisy Fuentes showed. I forget what those were called, but oh my gosh, they're awful. That's why
stick to the base. Stick to what's worked.
Yeah, there's some things. Sometimes you just need clips to hold hair in. But anyway, as far as the Ziplocs, the concept really sounds cool. No adhesives, no tape, no tubes, no locks, but honestly, they're just way too heavy. So those are the techniques for applying extensions. But more importantly, more focus has to be put on hair quality.
Hair quality is so important.
And this could be its own show just to talk about hair quality. Yeah, but where does most hair come from?
It comes from China.
That's it.
It really does. And I think that it's a misconception. And a lot of people lie. And they say that it's from Russia.
It's the biggest scam in the industry.
Or, Italian hair.
Oh, sure. We're Italian. Are we giving away our hair?
No. But I think that, most of it does come from China. And you just have to make sure, you're not getting Amazon hair.
Well, that in itself is just the most inferior hair. Generally the most inferior hair ever, even though I did sell on Amazon and I did sell great quality hair.
I don't even really mean to knock it. I've known clients that have gotten some
it's based
Amazon hair,
right?
But you pay more, so you have to know that the more you spend, the better quality you're going to get.
So there's not many Italians giving away their hair. There's definitely not a lot of Brazilian women giving away their hair, even though they say there's a lot of Brazilian
Russian hair.
Russian hair. Come on, there's so much. These women today, even in Western countries or in Russia, they're adding hair. They're just not. They're not
taking it off, and they're not also. You're not selling it. It's a different market now. It's so highly needed for all this hair that I don't think there's enough people that actually have the hair to give.
Well, in China there are.
Well, I think there's factories in China manufactured hair.
And then in India, there's a small sect of people of that movie Good Hair. They talk about Indian temple hair, which does exist, and it's very, very much like Caucasian hair, but it's shaved off, and that hair, I'm sure most people know the story. It's these women in that part of India go once a year and donate their hair to God for all their blessings, and people have figured out how to make a lot of money,
make a profit off of something that's.
But that is very high quality hair. But it's also how it comes off the head. So generally it's just shaved off, buzzed off with clippers. And then the hair is combed, and a lot of that hair that's combed is taken out of brushes, tossed on the ground, and people are picking all that up and they're making hair extensions out of that, but they're a mess. They're going to mat, and that's just bad hair. And I tried to buy hair directly from India in the past, and that was a nightmare because I got a box of black hair with like white dots. It looked like lice.
I just can't.
Definitely blood on there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It wasn't treated. So
I'm serious. I'd rather have Chinese manufacture fake hair.
Well, they're catching,
really, than have something like that.
Well, they have grades. So the Chinese have a grading system. And, you can get five-star hair or, like AAA or, hair. That's much better hair because of the processing.
There's no such thing as virgin hair, is there?
There is, if it's like usually the color of origin, which is black hair. It's usually not blonde hair. No Scandinavian woman's giving her hair away. So, yeah. It's usually dark hair, and you can color treat it and use it.
I think the word virgin is being misused. I think what people mean now when they say virgin hair is if it's treated lightly or severely.
Right, and it's the origin is virgin origin, that it comes from virgin hair that was not chemically processed, not from a actual virgin woman.
No, but I mean, I know that. That would be spectacular if you could get that.
So the thing is, yeah, for sure, the virgin hair and Remy hair are interchangeable. And what essentially what they mean is that the cuticle of the hair is intact, meaning it's grown and it's cut off in the same direction as it grew from the donor. So that being said, that hair that's brushed and collected off the ground, that's going to be a mangled mess because the cuticles are going in all different directions. Right. Whereas with virgin/Remy hair, that is not the case. It's all the cuticles going one straight direction. But yes, Indian hair exists, and a lot of Asian hair is just what's flooded in the market.
Which is fine. Like I said, I'd rather have it nice and clean and ready to go and smelling good and no dandruff or lice or blood or anything
or an old person's hair. Some of that's out there too.
Or horsehair.
Horsehair, yaki hair is very popular. It's always been common, but there's horsehair, cadaver, from cadavers. There's hair that's mixed in with synthetic because we've had a lot of different things. Well, because there's no governing body. There's nothing out there. There's no agency that says this is actual virgin hair.
Well, some do, and I think that's why a lot of places will use, these big companies to guide them to buy hair, and that's why they charge a fortune.
That's why yes, and if you're smaller and you're in the business and you want to offer, hair that you don't have to go through what we've gone through we have our own brand. So that being said, it is made out of the factory that does Balmain hair, but it's beautiful quality, but it took a long time to get there.
And I think that's what clients have to understand too, is when we consult and give you a quote, a price, and you go to these salons that are offering a lot, I mean, you have to realize that the hair is a payout. They're paying a lot for this hair, and that's in the price.
Yes.
So you almost want a stylist to give you a good quote because it's good hair.
Right, exactly. And it's also a good attachment because if you have inferior keratin, it's going to turn to gum, like that monkey bars that I spoke of when I first started doing hair extensions, or you're going to have bad tape that just forget it. It won't last. It won't last more than a week or two. It'll just slide right out. So, but what makes the difference is how the hair is processed. So even Asian hair, or of course I prefer the Indian hair, even that, it's all in the process. And the best country that processes hair is in Italy. They have the best factories, yes. They don't do these big time acid baths because, especially when you're working with this darker hair, the hair in general, inferior hair qualities are just tossed into these acid baths, and they're decolorized. And what that does is it just flattens out the cuticle. So there's no way to really remove a cuticle from the hair, but this just flattens it and allows them to process it so you can get the colors like, your natural blondes to fantasy shades, purple, blues, pinks. But the acid bath is a quick way to do it because the production's quick, and they want to get the hair out, they want to make their money, and that's basically how most Asian factories process hair. Whereas in Italy, they do a subtle decolorization process. It is with acid, so it's a solution similar to Coca-Cola. But instead of doing it in like a day or a couple hours, the hair is slowly decolorized in this solution, which, it keeps the cuticle much more intact and healthier, and it doesn't get all matted. But so it's really, really important to not, whether you're purchasing hair for yourself or you're purchasing for your salon, you really want to do some research as to the company.
Of course.
And you want the right hair, because I purchased hair. It was just all trial and error. As you know, we've had hair where I've seen it oxidize back to its natural color while it's in a package.
Oh my goodness.
Or we've had to replace hair.
Oh, well,
right. So, in you're a stylist starting out.
That's time. That's, that's money that you have to take out hair and replace it because bad quality hair.
Bad quality hair, you have to take it out, replace it. And if you're the stylist and you're working singularly, then you have to do what? You have to pay for all new hair.
Mm-hmm.
So be smart. Don't go to someone who works out of their house without licenses, and don't have your friend watch a video and start doing your hair. I mean, companies like Great Lengths, I mean, they're out there for a reason. They have that reputation because they're expensive, but they're good.
They're worth
really
it.
good. It's great, great quality, and it's important as a salon owners. We know that it's important to actually educate our clients, give them a free consultation. Not everybody does free, but we do intense consultations.
And a consultation is the most necessary part of everything.
Absolutely.
You need to come in. They're usually free. They should be free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, stylists takes their time and they go over what's going to be best fit for you. And that could be any of these different techniques that we said. It doesn't mean that one fits all. So we have to look at your hair. We have to give you a quote. We have to see what you want, whether you want fullness, length, what
there's
style,
so many things. You don't have to have
color.
long hair. Just extensions aren't all about long hair.
I mean, I think I always do consults before I give anybody any advice.
We will get a lot of emails off our website or DMs through Instagram. How much?
You can give a estimate.
We can give an estimate for sure in a range, but there's no way to give an exact price. And even though we are one salon, and I think that a lot of salons should get into our practice where we do stock hair because you can make money, but you have to grow to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But we have hair in stock. People can come in and they can have their tapes done the same day or their keratins. But it takes a lot. It's a lot of inventory. It's costly. But
I've had clients that come in for consultation and I've turned them away. I don't think that extensions work for them. And I'm not going to put something in their hair that's going to make it not at its full potential.
Well, extensions today are a household name, but there's only so many that are good. You want to research out the salons, read the reviews. As I said before,
you have to be realistic too.
Absolutely.
You have to.
It's just like plastic surgery. You go in, if you don't start with a pretty face, you're Tori Spelling and you want to fix everything up, you're still going to, look like Tori Spelling. I mean, she's okay, but she's no beauty. Whereas you take a Kylie Jenner, her plastic surgery is beautiful.
Right. Well, she had a nice foundation.
She had a decent foundation.
But that's the same. I mean, that's the same thing with hair extensions. You come in with a picture of A, B, and C. You might not get that if you don't have a foundation to give you that.
Absolutely.
And you want to do what's best for your hair at the end.
So let's talk about celebrities and their hair.
Celebrities and their hair. Oh, well, I think that the only thing that frustrates me is I feel like people would be a little bit more honest as to what's in their hair. Because everybody has something. Yeah,
whether it's a wig or hair extensions or a
hair piece or tapes or clip-ins. And I just think that, it really is not talked about.
And that also touches upon color because we're colorists as well. And we take pride in our hair colors. And whether there be, the white blondes, the beautiful brunettes to the fantasy shades.
Well, even now balayage and ombre. And, you have these celebrities who are going, black to platinum in 48 hours. Well, they have extensions.
Or they have a wig.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you see these girls with this ashy tone blonde, and like I said, 48 hours, they're wearing extensions, and they don't talk about it. It's not, I think they should.
Right, but I think as you said, there's no way to get those colors. Extensions just will give you the most brilliant shades that you won't get, that you just can't get with a natural color.
Not.
But I think Kylie Jenner should have her own line of wigs in addition to her makeup because she changes that hair.
I definitely think she does wigs, but I think she does a lot of tapes.
Yeah.
I think she probably will. She has a makeup line. She probably
she
will have
represented Bellamy with their line of hair extensions in the past too.
Yeah, I'm sure she will again.
Yeah, I think she will. She's out there. I mean, the Kardashians, no matter what anybody says,
Yeah.
But I know you have a problem with the fact that they're just not honest.
I just wish that they would be a little bit more.
Well, they weren't honest about their butts.
No, they're not. But that's fine. I mean, you want to talk like body versus hair, but hair, you see it. You see it obviously.
You see the butt too.
If I was a plastic surgeon, I guess I would notice
a big
it more.
butt with skinny legs.
But
I mean, we know it's not real. You can do all the X-rays you want, it's fat injections or whatever. Yeah.
But it's crazy because even when you watch these videos that they post about makeup application or hair styles, they maneuver the camera or they hide it in a way that you don't see a bond or you don't see a tape. So it looks like they're natural.
Right. And they're photoshopped to death. Or, I mean, let's face it, even at the level of Instagram, and of course, there's some beautiful women and influencers out there, but filters.
I know, filters.
I mean,
Pinterest. Pinterest has changed the game.
Yeah, and Instagram too.
Yeah.
But there is, my guilty pleasure is definitely the Real Housewives franchise.
You love that, yes.
I love them. Well, they're a little bit older as I am. And, I like to see what they can do. And Beverly Hills has one woman on there. Her name is Dorit.
Yeah.
And I just love her style.
She has great hair.
She has great hair. She tosses around wigs here and there. She'll wear a wig. She'll do some extensions. She'll have them long, a little short, age appropriate, and nice. I like her.
I love how she rocks short hair.
She does well.
Very well. And she was one of the first ones to do the gold foil. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was that gold foil across the front of her face.
Oh my God, it was so cool. And they gave her such flack on that show. Well, now everyone's doing it.
And then there's that Erica Jane. I know she wears individual extensions because I saw them when she put them up. But she kind of has that blonde Amazonian type woman, like that Game of Thrones hair. But,
very, very long.
It's not.
It's a lot. It's a lot of hair.
Yeah, I know. But that's part of her act. But yeah, it's too much.
It's too much.
The Real Housewives of New Jersey, their hair is as tacky as they are because I see their tapes all the time. There's no blend at all. It's
shocking because you think they would have someone fixing their hair.
They don't care, even though they have all these the glam squads or whatever. I just don't think they care. I don't know. I take offense to that, but I don't. Let's see who else. Well, you saw the Met Gala.
Yes, and I mean, you could just everything. I mean, even short hair looks great with hair extensions. Actually, I prefer shorter hair with hair extensions.
Yeah,
it just gives fullness, and it's just beautiful.
We can do some miraculous work with shorter hair. You do need at least 4 to 5 inches of hair to cover any type of extension.
Yeah.
But that being said, we will get into this on later shows, we work with hair loss and hair toppers. And, there's so many different things you can do with hair. And we really welcome anybody getting a hold of us. This is our first show, so we would love to hear.
Yeah. We're a little nervous.
But we would love to hear from anybody, that has questions. Visit our website. Look at our Instagram, Facebook, both under Noelle Salon. You can email noelle@noellesalon.com. You can DM us. You can DM and ask for Aurora. If you're listening from the Boston or New England area, we would love to see you. Mm-hmm. Our future shows will contain...
This was an introduction of hair extensions, because I think we get the most questions.
Yes.
For hair extensions. But I think we can, we would love to talk about color and stories and
boy, do we have stories.
Fashion and everything.
I mean, hairdressers, hair stylists, notoriously, we get
therapists.
We're therapists, but we get even more than the therapist because they feel more comfortable telling us.
And they're not paying us the prices of therapists.
No. And then when you're taking out hair extensions and you're finding sticks and dirt in there.
Sticks and dirt.
I found sticks and dirt because, well, she was on her back. I said, that was real bedhead. You were on your back doing something. I don't know, on the outdoors.
But it's funny. I mean, if you could just give us some thoughts and feedback of what you would like, some questions that maybe you guys have, or any topics that you'd want us to talk about. Yes. We'll have some special guests coming through to give their opinion or view on things, and
we're going to talk about
everything that hair matters.
Yeah, all hair matters, and we're going to talk about transgenders. I have a lot. We have a huge transgender. We have a huge transgender clientele.
We do,
and they are wearing all sorts of hair extensions, so that's important. We have the latest on some injectables for growing hair.
I've heard of that.
Yep. So that's going to be a subject. Yep, that's going to be a subject that's going to help
because we need hair to add extensions. So you need that hair to grow.
Yeah, and you need hair in general. And we do work, as I said, we're a niche business, so we work a lot with younger girls with trichotillomania. So helping their hair grow as well is something that's really important to us, but we'll be covering that. So we want to thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
And we hope you listen to everything. And
give us some feedback.
Yep. Feel free and to get a hold of us, Noelle@noellesalon.com. This is Noelle and Aurora, and thank you for tuning in.
Bye.